your name. Lips are very stranger. Oh God, you were famous.
The first time you see it, a persimmon, you would mistake it for a sunset tomato. That'd be your fault. Being stripped bare of bareness is endurable. You don't expect it like you don't expect an awful cloying from tomato, unaware of the ripening and always of it deeply in its cradle.
Catherine Vance, please come on up.
The first thing I read in the local paper when I moved to Asheville, North Carolina was a headline saying, "Woman kills husband with rolling pin." I thought, well, I have come home to the heart of Appalachia, which is where my family and my genes are from. The incident was tragic, but also quintessential. Some old 1950s hillbilly cartoon gone wrong. But then I thought, maybe I have arrived on a new planet where everything is so out of place it doesn't make sense at all. Think about how your breathing went rapid, how your body got hot all over, and your heart rate accelerated to haywire. Think how you tried to stay with yourself and not faint. What negative things does this say about you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much pain does this cause you?
So, remember her name. It's Raquel Aben. Give it up.
Nobody does anything, can't take it anymore. Intercambia los tubos como un doctor sobre un corazón abierto y el paraguas agigantado vuelve a erguirse, como si finalmente se atreviera a vencer la luz. The poet does not care, dice, y voltea hacia mí. When my dad came in, he said something very loud to me, pointing out the darkness with his left hand, the other one holding a solid wood cane. One of the statues tried to hush him from a distant chair, but my dad didn't listen and kept on howling and waving the cane, protesting so loudly that I couldn't understand what he was saying.
Crazy Chris's jaw muscles flex. It may be involuntary. Morning sun shines on his face, which is smooth. Not just shaved smooth, baby smooth. Signs of acne scarring on his jowls. Crazy Chris, however, has body certainty, even though he's a complete contradiction. He has huge biceps, infant-sized forearms, large hands, and wrinkly old person skin pulling at the elbows. The body undoes itself.
Come back again.
He pulls for me. He knows the power behind preposition positioning, so between midnight yet before dawn, my moon whispers to me saying, find a way to keep your head above the clouds while your feet, your souls, and your soul remains grounded. However, never underneath it. My moon always knows what's best for me. Despite wherever I am standing, the best parts of my nearby is somewhere in my insides. My moon, y'all, is a proclamation. I know that you're closing in. Arms stretched wide to an attainable sky, and every time you get in front of a set of eyes, give all of you, every ounce of you, from me to you.
She often thought about her feelings for him, mercurial and fleeting, almost identical to her moods each month. The pure and expansive joy that nearly killed her and cycled by degrees into the choking and heavy sorrow that held her tightly at times and that she was almost at home within. She was told that she didn't hold him enough, that bonding in time would anchor her to him and to reality and allow the foreign feelings to subside. But as more time passed and she performed her duties to him more perfunctorily, she didn't know if she wanted the feelings to go away. With the feelings came a sense of color, of crisp green love or murky blue sorrow or scalding red hatred, all of which were preferable to the moments of bleak apathy that she cycled into more and more often.
I thought about my mother who wanted to be alone, While all that time passed, and I was so young. I watched her from a distance, her thin, young legs reflecting in the water as she dreamed about the hours she could have taken for herself had she been alone. Without that first baby at 18, she may have scattered amongst the pencil skirts in her dream job had she not been a mother, her belly so round and so big. In her belly, my long legs bulged big and plushed against her skin, my young soft mouth pursed in a pensive frown. My mother sang to me after I was born for hours. Her voice...
Warm palates stereotyped as feminine cambiando, virile legacy of Virgen puta whore dichotomy, as Gloria and Sandua terms. Rape Malinche intellectualizes languages. Wearing a veil, she holds a rosary yet surrounded by lace. Spring white zapatos of an innocent path withdrawn. Candle lamp to the left and right, flores al lado, far left Jaramillo apellido, or perhaps the reversal of the Earth's magnetic field, as roses surround a hairy forearm of muscular man tatuado. La Virgen de Guadalupe inked, pastel on ink, a fragmented limb. To Malinche's far right, La Guadalupana stands in faded but bold colors on the back of a black and white mestizo. Handcuffed, profiled. Malinche, profiled. Enslaved, profiled.
I spent a holiday laboring to breathe. The muscles in my neck fought against me, roping around like a noose. I strained to see things often ignored. In the dismal nooks, the Gaditano and I perched. An amber glow bathes our bodies, fossilizing our lust with a filtered Spanish sun, setting the mood nicely in this hospital bathroom where we met. Nightfall, we land at the beach, sugar sand between toes, sea salt rings on ankles, clandestine back rubs.
The falling leaves, falling once again, reminding us of autumn, the memento mori of our lives, with fading colors and gray skies, reminding us somehow that life still remains. For when a leaf falls, its colors are somewhat warm, decaying and decomposing through the cold, reminding us of spring, greeting winter. Why is everything so relatable? For when the winter comes, the leaves will be gone, the cold will be long, and that was red is now dead. But even in the midst of the coldest day, there's still hope, that even in the darkest spot, the flowers will once again bloom.
Love's test is a debt to no one. It does not give a fuck about you. It suckles the world. Your problems are not new, although yes, it is cold in here. At least I have a life, this giant ball of desire, whether we smallly remember to love it or not.
My heart thumping against my time manager had seen a tape of the match that made me a contender. Over caviars and cigars with his cash cow draped in silk, I imagine. He'd seen the tape. And he didn't like the thunder of my left hook, the patter of my feet on canvas, the hunger in my eyes that reminded him too much of Joe in his prime. And all I have to do is go down on the fourth. Theo told me so. Late last night, over the phone, 12 hours before the fight, when the April skies wept a flood and Mama had called from across the Atlantic to tell me Donald, her favorite goat, had wandered off again.
Light glancing, the overheard heart stutters, the beats transposed like scaffolds outside, fluttering, made of hands, being held together as like a drifting boat carrying us all of this long trip. And what's it cost to stay above kitchen sinks where green overtly blooms, filling all this scene that routes the wrought iron? The hydrangea growth along is becoming articles of saying it's past the dust particles, the sunshine, the window. I won't call you out this time.
My doubt, she's on my right. She'll take a compliment to chew on and spit back up. My morning, afternoon, and midnight depression form a line in front of me, hold hands, like the saddest game of Red Rover anytime someone comes too close. My fear is composed of three of me. Me, number one, had to convince us to come up here. Me, number two, had to convince us to write this. Me, number three, told one and two I'd fail in every line. There goes the extrovert who wants everyone to love me by the first handshake. There goes the introvert who wants to go home when she walks off the stage. My ego. Okay, my ego is actually 8 Meg Thee Stallions.
A crowd burst into the foyer with fists held high, chanting, "Decolonization is not a metaphor." Everyone around takes their phones out. Some cheer and join the chanting crowd as they make their way through the foyer to the antiquity section. People in earth-colored dashikis remove large West African wood carvings from their wall mounts.